Imagine waking up every morning feeling grounded, centered, and balanced, no matter what the day throws at you. Imagine yourself navigating life's ups and downs with grace and resilience. Your inner calm is not disturbed by the chaos outside. It's not just a distant dream. It is a way of life that has been pursued and practiced for centuries, rooted in the ancient wisdom of Stoicism. Today we are tackling a topic that is not just about understanding Stoic philosophy, but also the recognition and transformation of behavior that stand in our way. Stoicism teaches us to live virtuously and find joy in accepting what we cannot change while working diligently on what we can. It's about recognizing our power to cultivate inner strength, wisdom, and tranquility, whatever the external circumstances. Stoic principles guide us to view challenges as opportunities for growth, to value simplicity over complexity, and to seek fulfillment in the elevation of our character. However, in our journey through modern life, we often find ourselves moving away from these principles, entangled in habits and mentalities that lead us astray. These anti-Stoic behaviors act as obstacles to our personal and philosophical growth. They prevent us from fully enjoying the richness of life and embodying the Stoic virtues of courage, justice, wisdom, and temperance. And before we dive deep into the transformative wisdom of Stoicism, I encourage you to subscribe to the channel, not only as a viewer, but also as an active participant in this journey of self-improvement. Remember that you are different from the majority. You chose to take this path, which makes you an exception. So don't skip any part of the video. Each segment is a crucial step toward understanding and integrating Stoic practices into your life, helping you stand out in a world of conformity. Number 1. Excessive materialism. In a world bombarded with advertising and consumer culture, it's easy to believe that happiness lies in the next purchase or possession. But Stoicism encourages us to find contentment and happiness within ourselves. It teaches us that the pursuit of material wealth can often prevent us from achieving true peace of mind and happiness. The Stoics believe that by focusing on our inner self, our character, our virtues, and our actions, we can find a deeper, more lasting form of joy. So how can we apply this wisdom in our daily lives? It begins by shifting our attention from what we want to acquire to what we want to live and become. Think about the moments that truly enriched your life. Chances are, it's not about the things you bought, but the experiences you've had and the relationships you've built. Whether it's an enriching conversation with a friend, a breathtaking hike in nature, or the satisfaction of personal development. It is these joys that accompany us, that shape who we are and who we aspire to be. These are the joys that accompany us, that shape who we are and who we aspire to be. Let's challenge ourselves to value simplicity and authenticity over extravagance and pretension. In doing so, we not only free ourselves from the endless cycle of desire, but we also open our hearts to the authentic happiness that comes from living according to Stoic principles. Remember, it's not the things we accumulate that define our legacy. It is the wisdom we gain, the love we share, and the peace we find in ourselves. Number 2. The search for external validation. We live in a world where the number of likes, shares, and subscriptions can seem like a direct measure of our worth. But here's something to think about. When we base our self-esteem on the approval of others, we build our self-esteem on very shaky ground. It's like building a house on sand. The slightest tide can wash away everything. Stoicism, with its profound wisdom, offers us a solid foundation. This ancient philosophy teaches us that to look for validation from outside ourselves is a precarious path. The Stoics encourage us to look within ourselves for approval and self-esteem. They advise us to cultivate virtues such as wisdom, courage, justice, and mastery of the spirit. Do we change our minds, suppress our true thoughts, or change our righteous behavior to fit in or please someone else? It's almost like wearing a mask, isn't it? But the problem with wearing a mask is that over time it can become stuffy and, deep down, we know that this is not who we really are. Stoicism pushes us to remove this mask, accept our authentic self, and find inner validation. This doesn't mean we should become indifferent to others or dismiss feedback altogether. After all, humans are social beings by nature, and connection is essential. What Stoicism teaches is the art of discernment, the ability to take in outside opinions, compare them to our inner compass, and decide what feedback can help us grow. It's about being confident in ourselves and our journey. When you find yourself affected by someone else's opinion, pause and ask yourself if you're seeking this validation to grow or to fill a lack of self-confidence. Remember that your value does not diminish based on someone's inability to see your value. You are the guardian of your worth, and it is your inner virtues, your actions, and your integrity that truly define you. Number 3. Rumination. Have you ever caught yourself replaying a conversation over and over in your head, or worrying all the time about a future event? It's rumination. It's like a record that plays the same chords of regret, worry, and fear over and over again. But here's the rub. While we are busy ruminating about the past or the future, the present, the only moment we really have, slips through our fingers. Stoicism, with its rich history of practical wisdom, offers us a lifeline out of this cycle. The Stoics were not just philosophers. They were realists who knew that it was important to focus on the present. They taught that if we cannot change the past or control the future, we can influence the present. By anchoring ourselves in the present, we can free ourselves from the chains of rumination that bind us to what we cannot change or predict. But how to do it? How to get our minds out of the shadows of the past or the fog of the future? The answer lies in practicing full consciousness and in the development of gratitude. When you find yourself slipping into rumination, take a break and take a deep breath. Look around you. Notice the colors, the sounds, the textures. This simple act of awareness can bring you back to the present, grounding you in the reality of the moment. And then there is gratitude. In the midst of our ruminations, it's easy to forget the blessings we have here and now. By consciously recognizing these blessings, whether the warmth of the sun, the comfort of home, or the presence of loved ones, we shift our attention from lack to abundance, from fear to gratitude. Stoicism teaches us that it is not external events themselves that disturb us, but our judgments about them. By choosing to focus on the present and cultivate a sense of gratitude, we not only break the cycle of rumination, we also align ourselves with the Stoic ideal of living according to nature, which in this context means embracing life as it unfolds every moment. Remember that every time you withdraw from the past or the future to come back to the present, you strengthen a muscle. The more you do it, the stronger this muscle becomes and the less hold rumination will have on you. Living in the present, learning from the past without being chained to it, and preparing for the future without being consumed by worry is the very essence of Stoic wisdom. Number 4. Don't be afraid of change. The Stoics understood that change is not just an inevitable part of life, but a necessary part. They saw change as the natural order of the universe, a dance of transition that offers opportunities for personal development and wisdom. Instead of resisting change, the Stoics advocated to accept it, to recognize it as a way to become more resilient, more adaptable, and ultimately, more in tune with the flow of life. Imagine if we could view change not as a threat, but as an invitation to explore, learn, and evolve. When we shift our perspective in this way, the fear associated with change begins to dissipate. We are starting to see opportunities where we previously saw obstacles. We find excitement in the prospect of new experiences and growth in the challenges they bring. But how to make this change? How to learn to welcome change with open arms? It starts with a change in mindset. We must let go of the illusion of control, the belief that we can cling to the status quo. Instead, we embrace the Stoic understanding that the only true control we have is over our thoughts and actions in the present moment. Then we can cultivate flexibility and adaptability, qualities that allow us to handle change with grace. It means being open to new ideas, willing to let go of old ones, and ready to step out of our comfort zone. Remember that it is often in the moments when we feel the most uncomfortable that we grow the most. Finally, we can train ourselves to view change through the lens of gratitude. Every change, whether it seems positive or negative at the time, brings lessons and opportunities. By focusing on what we can learn and how we can grow, we transform our experience of change from one of fear to one of curiosity and appreciation. So let's not be afraid of change. Let us welcome it as the Stoics did, as an essential and enriching part of the human experience. Let's step out of our comfort zone, explore the new, and find joy in the journey to becoming. After all, it is through change that we have the opportunity to discover our potential, test our limits, and shape a life that reflects our deepest values and aspirations. By accepting change, we find our true strength and our path to inner peace. Number 5. Stop worrying about trivial things. It's easy to get caught up in the details and lose sight of what really matters. The Stoics remind us that not everything is worthy of our energy and attention. They teach us the art of discernment, to recognize the difference between what we can change and what we must accept. This distinction is crucial because it allows us to concentrate our efforts where we can really make a difference, thus freeing us from the futile quest to control the uncontrollable. Imagine how much lighter your life could be if you got rid of the burden of trivial worries. Imagine yourself moving through the day, anchored in the present, with your mind free of trivial concerns. It's not just a pleasant fantasy. It is a concrete reality that Stoicism invites us to accept. So, how can we begin to let go of these trivial concerns? It starts with awareness. Catch yourself when you fall into the trap of trivial worries. Ask yourself if this will matter in a week, a month, or a year. Is this something I can control? If the answer is no, allow yourself to free yourself from this worry. Consciously focus on something you can control and that is worth your attention. Additionally, Stoicism encourages us to take a broader perspective on life, reminding us of the impermanence of our experiences. When we step back and view our lives in the broader context of time and space, we realize that many of our worries are not only insignificant, but also fleeting. This awareness can be profoundly liberating, fostering a sense of calm and equanimity even amid life's inevitable fluctuations. But Stoicism doesn't just teach us to detach from insignificant worries. It also guides us toward more meaningful engagement in life. By conserving our mental energy, we can channel it into activities that enrich our lives and those of others. By deepening our relationships, cultivating our talents, contributing to our communities, and building a legacy that reflects our highest values. Number 6. Never seek revenge. When we have been wronged, we want to right that wrong, to even the score. But let's stop for a moment and think about what the pursuit of revenge actually brings us. Does it heal our wounds or create new ones? The Stoics teach us that revenge is a trap. It is a visceral reaction that distances us from our rational self, leading us down the path of anger and suffering. But here's the problem. When we give in to these impulses, we let someone else's actions control our emotions and dictate our state of mind. Why would we give someone this power over us? Instead, Stoicism advocates forgiveness and understanding. It's not about tolerating bad behavior or pretending it didn't hurt. It's about recognizing that holding on to anger hurts us more than the other person. It's about choosing to free ourselves from the toxic grip of rancor and resentment. But how to do it? How to release these powerful emotions and move towards forgiveness? It starts with recognizing our feelings, by allowing ourselves to feel hurt or angry without judgment. Stoicism does not ask us to repress our emotions, but to understand them and question the power they have over us. Then we can try to see the situation from the other person's point of view. It's not easy, especially when we are hurt, but it can be incredibly enlightening. Often we discover that the person who wronged us is acting out of his own pain, of his fear, or his insecurity. This does not excuse his behavior, but it may help us see it as less personal, more human. And this is where the true power of Stoicism comes into play. It teaches us to focus on what we can control. We cannot control the actions of others, but we can control our reactions. By choosing forgiveness, we take back our power. We decide not to let ourselves be defined by the misdeeds of others or consumed by negative emotions. Forgiveness does not mean forgetting or renouncing justice. It means making the conscious choice to let go of resentment. It means opening our hearts to healing and peace, even when it's difficult. And when we do this, we align ourselves with the virtues of Stoic wisdom, wisdom in understanding the futility of revenge, courage in facing our pain and choosing a higher path, and justice in treating others not as they deserve, but as we aspire to be. Number 7. Stop wasting your time. Stoicism urges us to live intentionally, to make conscious choices about how we spend our time, ensuring that our activities resonate with our deepest values and contribute to our personal growth and moral development. The Stoics remind us that while we cannot control the length of our lives, we can control its depth and richness. They encourage us to ask ourselves whether we are just passing time or whether we are truly living. Now think about how you spend a typical day. How much time do you spend on activities that really matter to you? How much time do you waste on things you won't even remember in a week? It's easy to fall into the trap of mindlessly scrolling through social media, binge-watching TV series, or getting caught up in other people's drama. But imagine what could happen if you got that time back. Channel it into activities that truly enrich your soul and elevate your existence. Conducting an audit of your time can be an eye-opening exercise. For a week, write down how you spend each hour of your day. Be honest and thorough. At the end of the week, look at your journal and identify patterns. How much time do you spend on activities that match your values, that contribute to your development, that bring you authentic joy? And how much time is wasted on things that don't matter in the long run? Armed with this insight, you can begin to make intentional choices about how you spend your time. Maybe you'll spend more hours learning a new skill, maintaining your relationships, engaging in creative activities, or simply being present in the moment. Maybe you will decide to volunteer, give back to your community, or spend more time in nature. The details will vary from person to person, but the underlying principle remains the same. Live in accordance with your values, making the most of the precious time you are given. Stoicism teaches us that every moment is an opportunity to live well, to choose actions that reflect the best in ourselves. It reminds us that time should not be wasted, but cherished, used in service of the kind of life we aspire to lead. So, as you move forward, remember to regularly ask yourself, is this how I want to spend my limited time? Do I invest in activities that enrich my soul and contribute to my development? In doing so, you will not only honor the Stoic tradition, but you will also create a deeply fulfilling and meaningful life for yourself. Number 8. Stop looking for problems. Whether it's thinking about what could go wrong or focusing on problems that might never materialize, this tendency can cast a dark shadow over our lives, obscuring the beauty and positivity that is also present. But what if we could change this mindset? The Stoics teach us the importance of focusing on what is within our control, our actions, our responses, and our judgments. How to train our minds to search for solutions rather than problems. It starts with awareness. Begin by observing your thoughts. Notice when you fall into the trap of looking for problems and consciously redirect your attention toward solutions. Ask yourself, what can I do now to improve this situation? Even small progressive changes can have a profound impact over time. Furthermore, Stoicism encourages viewing adversity as an opportunity for growth. Instead of seeing problems as insurmountable obstacles, we can see them as opportunities to develop our character, to practice virtues such as patience, perseverance, and courage. This change of perspective can transform our experience of life's challenges, transforming potential stressors into valuable lessons and growth experiences. Adopting a problem-solving attitude also means cultivating flexibility and openness to change. Sometimes the solutions we need require us to step out of our comfort zone, to try new approaches, or consider other perspectives. By remaining adaptable and receptive, we can navigate life's twists and turns with greater ease and efficiency. But perhaps the most profound aspect of this Stoic teaching is its emphasis on inner peace. When we stop obsessing about what could go wrong and start focusing on what we can do right, we find a sense of calm and clarity. This doesn't mean we should ignore potential problems or pretend they don't exist. Rather, It means that we approach them with a constructive mindset, one that prioritizes action and solutions over worry and rumination. Stoicism doesn't just offer us a strategy for dealing with problems. It offers us a way to live more fully and joyfully. By shifting our attention from problems to solutions, not only do we overcome challenges more effectively, but we also open ourselves to a greater appreciation of the present moment, to a deeper engagement in our lives, and a deeper sense of accomplishment. Number 9, impulsivity. Stoicism teaches us the value of deliberation and self-control, virtues that seem all the more valuable in our fast-paced, profit-driven world of instant gratification. The Stoics remind us that true freedom does not consist of acting on every impulse. It's about controlling your impulses. Thus, our actions are always in line with our deepest values and objectives. But how to tame impulsivity? How can we cultivate this Stoic ideal of deliberation in our own lives? It starts with developing awareness, recognizing those moments when impulsiveness knocks at the door. It can be as simple as taking a deep breath before making a purchase, or taking a step back to assess our emotions before responding to a heated conversation. Patience is another key ingredient. In a world that celebrates speed and immediate results, patience is a form of silent rebellion. It's waiting for the right moment to act, ensuring that when we do, it is in harmony with our long-term aspirations. Patience allows us to consider a broader vision, to weigh the potential consequences of our actions, and choose the path that suits us truly. Mindfulness also plays a crucial role. It's about being fully present in the moment, aware of our thoughts, feelings, and environment, as well as how they influence our impulses. By cultivating mindfulness, we can create space between impulse and action, which gives us the clarity necessary to choose constructive responses aligned with our values. And what about when we falter? After all, we are human, and impulsiveness is part of our nature. Stoicism does not demand perfection. It invites progress. When we act impulsively, we can reflect on the experience, learn from it, and use this knowledge to better face future temptations. This reflective practice strengthens our ability to control ourselves and gradually reshapes our habits. Adopting these Stoic virtues doesn't just benefit us individually. It impacts our relationships, our work, and our communities. When we act with deliberation and self-control, we build trust, foster deeper connections, and contribute to a more thoughtful and considerate world. Number 10. Stop complaining. It's easy to express displeasure, but constantly complaining saps our energy and promotes negativity. Stoicism teaches us that although we may not have control over external events, we have control over our reactions to them. Complaining about something we can't change is like trying to teach a cat to sing. It's frustrating and futile. But how to get rid of the habit of complaining? First of all, it starts with awareness. Recognizing that we complain is the first step toward change. Once we are aware of this, we can begin to change the way we think. Instead of dwelling on what is wrong, we can look for what is right. It is not about ignoring problems or pretending everything is perfect. It's about choosing where to direct our attention and energy. Gratitude is an incredibly powerful tool in this process. By consciously focusing on the positive aspects of our life, we cultivate a sense of appreciation that can overshadow our tendencies to complain. It's about shifting our mindset from lack to abundance, from discontent to appreciation. And the good thing about gratitude is that it not only changes our perspective, it can also change our brain. Research shows that practicing gratitude can improve our mood, our well-being, and even change the neural structures associated with positive thinking. Stoicism also encourages us to take action where we can. Instead of complaining about a situation, we are encouraged to ask ourselves, what can I do about this? Even if the action is small or seems insignificant, it is a step toward empowerment and moves us away from victim status. By adopting this proactive mindset, we go from passive complainers to active participants in our lives. In essence, Stoicism doesn't just help us stop complaining, it guides us toward a more fulfilled and happier life. By accepting what we cannot change, focusing on the positive, and taking action where possible, we can transform our habitual responses to life's challenges. We can cultivate a mindset that sees opportunities for growth and learning in every situation. One who appreciates the good while recognizing the bad, and who finds contentment not in external circumstances, but in our internal attitudes. So the next time you find yourself complaining, pause and remember the Stoic approach. Ask yourself what you can enjoy in this moment. In doing so, you will not only improve your own life, but you will also contribute to a more positive and uplifting environment for those around you. After all, joy is contagious, but so is negativity. Choose joy. And there you have it. A journey through the wisdom of Stoicism guiding us toward a more satisfying and purposeful life. Remember that it is not the events in our lives that shape us, but our reactions to them. Each day offers a new canvas, and Stoicism gives us the brush to paint our reactions with intention and grace. Thank you for joining me on this Stoic journey. Your presence and your commitment are what make this community so special. As our paths diverge today, I invite you to continue exploring the path of Stoicism by looking at one of the suggested videos on screen. Dive deeper, learn more, and let us grow in wisdom and virtue together.